Howdy do, sir.
I need work. You need a man here?
Sit down. Maybe we can make a deal. Yeah, I've been kind of looking around. Had a couple of niggers and they got into a cutting scrape up the creek. One of them dead. The other jail in Cold Springs. I might need somebody. Where'd you work last?
North Dakota.
North Dakota? That seems a fair distance to me.
I can do everything on a farm cheap. I need work.
Well, my name's Thompson. Mr. Royal Earl Thompson.
I'm Mr. Helton. Mr. Olaf Helton.
Well, now I guess we better talk turkey. Yeah, sit down. Now, what I want to know is how much you fixing to gouge out of me.
I'm a good worker. I get $1 a day.
Oh! Boy, where'd they pay you that?
Wheat fields, North Dakota.
Well, this ain't any wheat field by a long shot. It's more of a dairy farm. My wife, she is set on a dairy, and it was a mistake. Damn animals and all. But I humored her. I got nearly everything to do anyhow. She's not too strong. Poorly day, that's a fact. Now, we planted some feed, a little corn, those fruit trees over there. Got some pigs and chickens, but our main hold is the cows. I can't pay you no $1 a day because just speaking one man to another, there ain't no money in it. No, sir. Whew. Paid $3.50 a month each nigger. Now, I know one middling good white man's worth a whole parcel of niggers, so I'll give you $7 a month. And you can eat in our table and be treated like a white man, as the feller says.
That's all right. I'll take it.
Well, now it's all right. Guess we call it a deal, eh? Now, won't you grab this churn a bit? I got some more important errands I haven't been able to take care of. I guess you do know what to do with butter after you get it, don't you?
I know. I know about the business.
You're a foreigner, ain't you?
I'm a Swede.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm afraid you're gonna be pretty lonesome around here. Not too many Swedes in this neck of the woods.
That's all right.
In fact, I may as well tell you, you're practically the first Swede I ever laid eyes on.
Oh, that's all right.
What's all the noise? Who is it?
I've got a fellow out there says he's a Swede, Ellie. Calls himself Hilton. Says he knows how to make butter.
Well, I hope it turns out to be the truth. I don't think my head's ever going to get any better.
Oh, now don't you fret too much. I'm going into town, pick up a little order of groceries.
Don't you linger, Mr. Thompson. Don't go to the hotel.
A couple of toddies never hurt anybody.
I never took a dram in my life. Never will.
I wasn't talking about the women folk.
Another lazy, no-account whiteman now. Why don't you hire a proper working man? Some trouble with his business. How'd you do, sir? My name's Miss Thompson. Just wanted to tell you I think you did real good in the milk house. It's always been a hard place to keep.
That's all right.
That's a pretty tune you were playing. Most folks don't know how to get much music out of a harmonica. We used to have an old accordion. Mr. Thompson could play it right smart, but the little boys broke it up. You know how little boys are. You better set them harmonicas up on a high shelf, or they'll be getting at them. Try to learn them, but it don't do much good. That'll do, maybe. Wonder where them little tads are. I can't keep up with them.
Come by the creek.
I guess they'll be wanting their dinner soon. What do you like to eat, Mr. Hilton? Well, we always have plenty of fresh butter and milk and cream, and that's a blessing. Mr. Thompson wants to sell all of it, but I tell him my family comes first.
I eat anything.
Fine.
Took a look around the premises, Ellie. Whew. Well, that sweet sure is already grinding out the labor. But he is the closest mouthed fellow I ever ran into in all my days. Seems like he's scared he'll crack his jaw if he opens his front teeth.
You smell like a topper, Mr. Thompson. Arthur, you can call Mr. Hilton now.
Say, Hilton, supper's ready. You big sweet.
You go ask him decent, or I'll get your daddy to give you a good licking.
Hey, sit right there.
Lord, for these and all thy other blessings, we thank thee in Jesus' name. Amen. Just a minute. Mr. Hill, would you like some potatoes? Give me your plates. You.
Yeah, I hope you like it hot like it is, Mr. Hilton, because it won't get anything but hotter. Cows get lazier than hell. Oh, excuse me, Missy. Lady's got sensitive ears.
Pass Mr. Hilton to me.
Funny thing happened today. Old Tom Weaver, He's got that alfalfa down there by the crossroads. Well, he and a couple other fellas, they let this goat loose in the hotel. The only thing was, the goat had about 7 beers. I guess he's still hungry because he started eating anything he saw. It's just the whole thing that's funny.
Hungry for you.
How's it you come to learn dairy up there in the wheat country? Good night, Mr. Hilton.
Good night, Mr. Helton.
Good night.
Good night.
Now you stop that. You can't help it. How'd you like to be a stranger in a strange land?
I'd like it. I think it would be fun.
Oh, they're just regular heathens, Ellie. Just plain ignoramuses. Now, you're both going to school next year. Maybe that new teacher will knock some sense into you.
I'm going to the reformatory when I'm older.
Oh, you are you? Who said so?
The Sunday school superintendent.
You see? Now, what'd I tell you, huh? Just get you two before I take the hat off you.
It's no use picking on them when they're so young and tender. I can't stand it.
Oh, my goodness, Ellie, we gotta raise them. We can't just let them go hog wild.
That Mr. Helton seems all right, doesn't he? Even if he can't be made to talk. I wonder how he comes to be so far from his home.
Country's full of fellas tramping around looking for work. He's peculiar. He sure knows how to grind out the labor.
Well, the only thing is, my grandmother always used to say, it's no use putting any dependence on a man who won't make out his dinner in a proper way.
Oh, Ellie, your grandma would just say the first thing that popped into her head and call it God's wisdom.
Well, I always say the first thing you can think of is the best thing you can say.
Oh, well, you're so refined about that goat story. I suppose you happen to be thinking about a hen and a rooster. I suppose you just shocked the Baptist preacher, eh? Well, there's no more meat on you than a rabbit. Now, I like 'em corn-fed.
Mr. Thompson, I think you're the evilest-minded man that ever lived. Just show you what it feels like, pinching so hard when you should be playing.
I've been meaning to patch this roof up a bit before it rains. Watch your head now. These damn cats always get out of here. Go on. This one here's been kind of sick. Either that or she's getting old. Anyway, you gotta... Well, just gotta kind of wake her up.
That's all right. I can do it.
Yeah, I think it'd be all right, Mr. Hilton, if in the future you did all the animal tending. I can cut sorghum, handle team, deal and trade as well as any man. When it comes to these damn animals, well, they need proper work. Woman's work is what it is. Just don't look right.
Can you come with me to the barn? Come on. Come
What's
see for
wrong?
yourself.
Almost done here.
Come on.
He just cleaned them out, Ellie. It must be a ride hack. He just cleaned them out.
Well, you never told me there were so many sick. And he does it so strange.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. There's the countries I was telling you about. In fall, we can pick them in about 3 cents a pound, though. I want to show you this fence over here to help. Come on. Well, look at this stuff here. I want to get this all picked up. It's a mess. Come on, Helton. See that fence right on there? Forget the damn apple. Come on, look. See that hole in the fence I was telling you about? That has to be repaired. I thought that was your bacon I smell.
Oh, Mr. Hilton's. It's still early.
Good thing. By this I make cheese.
Cream separator. Newfangled things. Cost an arm and a leg. Sure wish you'd learn another tune.
It was nice at first. I was tired of it for a while, but I hardly hear it anymore. But I think you'd find something to say sooner or later.
Yeah. When he gets ready to talk, he'll talk. Mr. Hilton, Ellie and I have been wanting to show our thanks for your good work and raise your wages. $250 more each month now.
Why don't you go on? I'll be along in a minute. Go on. Mr. Helton, we were wondering if you would like to join us in church today. There's going to be a fine sermon by Dr. Martin, and I think...
I got work.
Well, maybe another time then.
I keep telling you, religion is every man's own business. And I've been thinking, we might invite the neighbors over. You know, about time we can show off a little.
You just want an excuse to take out the judge, Mr.
Come on, let me show you my brand new trap. See your windmill. Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun. Ellie's like that too. Sure. Be sure to come on by anytime.
This here's my standby I was telling you about, Mr. Olaf Hilton. Mr. Albright?
I do.
Mr. Manning. Called a cream separator. You see, now milk goes one way, and the cream the other. The machine there's the latest thing in town.
Well, Royal, looks like a fine piece of equipment.
Ingenuity's what we go by. Gotta hand it to Mr. Hilton for helping out with that, too.
Looks fine.
Yep. Staying out of the poorhouse is all. break their ribs.
Now just hold on. I mean it. Just hold on there.
He said them brats been playing with his harmonicas, Ellie, blowing in them, getting them all dirty and full of spit, and they don't play good.
Did he say all that?
Well, he didn't say it just that way. That's what he meant anyhow, and he's pretty worked up about it. I swear it. I'll break their ribs.
Now maybe you just better leave the whipping to me, huh? You haven't got a light enough hand for children.
Oh, my pa says, knock me down with a stick of wood, anything else that came in handy. And that's what I'll do if you don't start minding you better. And stop being so bullheaded.
Well, you boys go to the well and wash the onions.
I just get.
And another thing, Mr. Thompson. Will you tell Mr. Hilton to come straight to us if they bother him and not to bother himself shaking them again, huh? Excuse me, Mr. Hilton. We thought you might be thirsty on a day like today. It's real cold. I chopped some ice.
Don't Mr. Hilton know how to shoot hogs?
Oh, he probably does, but it's my job to do the shooting, like someday it'll be yours. It's a man's job. Mr. Hilton does the butchering, your mama makes the meat.
How come we don't butcher?
Well, don't look right. Hired man's work it, why?
Are y'all going fishing? I don't want them getting wet.
Oh, that's all right. Give them lessons.
What else?
Herbert, take your finger out your nose.
What else?
I like how to earn your own salt. Not sitting around whittling, wrestling, thinking about fishing trips.
Like you?
That's right.
Like Mr. Hilton?
Like Mr. Hilton.
And what else?
They like taking hold and running things right.
How's that?
Catching things before it's too late.
What if you don't?
Well, then everybody knows and you can't hold your head up. The milk starts coming up bitter. man needs a hand sometimes, that's all. Times are hard. One man can't do it all. He's helping make this place pay. Boys be back home before dark now.
Yes, sir.
Go see if old brother Bones there needs help stacking.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You need a hand, Mr. Helton?
Is this Mr. Thompson? Mr. Royal Earl Thompson?
That's my name.
My name is Hatch. Mr. Homer T. Hatch. Your gate was open. I drove on through. Come to see you about buying a horse.
Well, usually if I got anything like that to sell, I tell my neighbors and tack a little sign on the gate.
That's just an old joke of mine. I knows when a man says he's come to buy something, nobody takes him for a suspicious character, you see.
Well, that's all lost on me, 'cause I never take any man to be a suspicious character unless he proves himself to be one. You know, says or does something.
But I ain't come neither to buy nor sell. Come to see you about something of interest to both of us. Won't cost you a cent.
Fair enough. Let's come around the house with this little shade.
Yes, sir. Homer T. Hatch is my name and America's my nation. Reckon you must know that name. Used to have a cousin named Jameson Hatch. Lived up the country ways. You don't know the old Hatch family. Came up from the south 50 years ago. You been in Texas long yourself?
Well, just my whole life. My pa, my grandpap before me. Grandpap immigrated 1836.
From Ireland, I reckon.
From Pennsylvania. Now, what makes you think we come from Ireland?
Well, like I always say, a man's got to come from someplace now, don't he?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, have a seat. Well, it's the slack season. We still have our chores now. I don't want to rush you, so if you come here to see me on business, maybe we ought to get down to it.
As I said, it's not in a way, and again in a way it is. I'm looking for a fellow named Mr. Helton. Mr. Olaf Eric Helton from North Dakota. Was told up the country ways I might find him here, and I wouldn't mind having a little talk with Mr. Helton. Wouldn't mind it at all, if it's all the same to you.
Well, he never told me his middle name, but Mr. Helton's right here. Been here now going on 9 years. He's a mighty steady man. You can tell anybody I said so.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm always glad to hear of a man mending his ways, settling down. course, when I knew my old friend, Mr. Hilton, why, he was pretty wild. Yes, sir, wild was what he was. Didn't know his own mind at all.
Well, we all gotta be young once. It's kind of like the measles. Breaks out all over you and you're a nuisance to yourself and everybody else, but it don't last. And it usually don't leave no ill effects.
That joke just sort of hit me where I live. Well, I wish I could think of funny things like that and say, that's a gift. Yes, sir, that is a gift.
Well, if you want to speak to Mr. Hilton, I'll go round him up. Now, he's usually in the shack this time of day.
Oh, there's no rush now. I've been wanting to speak to him for a long spell. A few more minutes won't make no difference.
Well, he's here. And he's this kind of man that if he has any business with you, he'd like to get it over. Well, there he is now. Now's your time. You know I know that tune like I know the back of my hand, but I don't believe I ever heard Mr. Hilton say what it was.
It's kind of a Scandinavian song. Back in North Dakota where I come from, they sing it a lot. Says something about starting out in the morning feeling so good you can't hardly stand it. So you drink up all your liquor before noon. All the liquor, you understand, you was saving for the noon layoff. Kind of a drinking song.
Yeah. He hasn't touched a drop since he's been on the place. Hadn't wet his whistle once.
Saving it for the noon layoff, huh? Yes, sir, still playing that old drinking song all by himself.
Yeah, he's been playing it on and off now for 9 years. Right here on the place.
He was playing it for 15 years before that in North Dakota. He used to sit up straight in his straitjacket practically, you know, when he was in the asylum.
What's that you say? What's that?
Shucks, I didn't mean to tell you that. Shucks, I just slipped out. I don't want to cause any excitement.
You mean they had him in a straitjacket in a lunatic asylum?
Sure did. That's where they had him from time to time. Why, of course, now, a man lived here for 9 years, all harmless, quiet. Why, it don't matter if he is loony. Now, does it?
They had my Aunt Ida in one of them things. She got so wild she broke a blood vessel and they come look after her. She's dead.
Nothing ever bothered him, except if you tried to get him to talk. Now, that would bother him. He'd get violent like Aunt Ida. They'd put him in a jacket and go away and leave him, and he'd lay there perfectly content, just singing his song. Then one night he disappeared. Just left, so to speak, you know, went. Nobody ever seen hiding a hair of him since.
He always seemed like a sensible man to me. Never got married, for one thing. And he works like a horse and keeps every penny. Never does say a word, much less swear, and if, well, if he's crazy, maybe I'll go crazy myself for a change.
That's a good one. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Let's all go crazy, get rid of our wives, and save our money, huh?
Let's move off down here a ways. I thought about that before. My wife's not very strong. The time was 5 years hand running. I turned over every nickel I made to the doctors. She's been better lately, but right over yonder. But yeah, the heat's too strong today.
My old woman, back as strong as a mule. Yes, sir, could move the barn with her bare hands. She's dead now, though. That kind wear out faster than the puny ones. I'd get rid of her mighty quick. Yes, sir, mighty quick, complaining woman. Just like you say, dead lost trying to keep one of them up.
She's a mighty reasonable woman. I can't answer what she'd say or do if she knew I had a lunatic on this place all this time. Well, I might have got upset myself once over such a thing like that. But now I'd defy anything to get me all lathered up.
I like it dry. Natural leaf, medium strong, no sweetening.
Well, I like a strong leaf. Heavy cured, as the fellow says.
One man meets another man's poison. Yes, sir, a chew like that would simply gag me. Couldn't begin to get in my mouth.
Oh, a little sweetening never hurt anybody as far as I'm concerned.
No, that artificial flavor, that's just put in there to cover up a cheap leaf.
I'm not a rich man, but I'll buy the best on the market.
Even a little sweetening. Sign of a cheap leaf, mark my words.
And about this Mr. Helton, I don't expect to take no steps about it because he went loony once or twice, not a step. Things are people enough to drive any man crazy. It's a wonder to me why more men don't wind up in straitjackets.
That's right, you took the word right out of my mouth. Ain't every man in a straitjacket that ought to be there. Of course, there is some people. Don't care who they associate with. That's their business, not mine. Back home in North Dakota, we don't feel like that. I'd like to see anybody hire a lunatic there, especially after what he done.
Now, just what did he do?
Nothing much. Just went loony, shoved a pitchfork square through his own brother one day while they was pitching hay. They would execute him, but they found out he'd gone crazy in the heat, so they just put him in the asylum. That's all he done. Nothing to get lathered up about.
I don't deny that's news. Yes, sir, news. I still say something drove him to do it. Some men make you feel like giving a good killing just by looking at you.
His brother was gonna get married. Used to go courting his girl nice, and he borrowed Mr. Helton's harmonica to give her a serenade one evening. Lost it. Brand new harmonica. Brother wouldn't buy him a new one. Mr. Helton just ups and, as I says, shoves this pitchfork right there through his brother. Now, you know, he must have been crazy to get all worked up over a thing like that.
Sounds like it. He thinks a heap of his harmonicas.
In fact, I might need your help with this little matter I have in hand. Won't cost you no trouble. Past 11 years or so, I must have rounded up 20-odd escaped lunatics, like Mr. Helton, along with a couple of convicts I just run into by accident. I don't make a business of it, but if there is a reward, and usually there is, why, of course, I get it. Fact is, I am for law and order. I don't like to see lawbreakers, lunatics at large. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, circumstances alters cases, as the feller says. And now, like I told you, Mr. Helton ain't dangerous anymore.
Law is solidly behind me. That Mr. Helton, he has kept my record from being practically 100%. Just lucky his old mother got a letter from him, along with a check on this little bank in town there, you know. $850. That old woman practically went out of her mind with joy. Well, postmark on the letter, she showed it all over town. You can knock me down with a feather.
It must have been a surprise, all right. Yeah, I'd say a surprise.
You get kind of decrepit now, half blind and all that. I told her that for my expenses, well, I'd come down there and see Mr. Helton, bring her back all the news about it. She give me this brand new shirt, big Swedish kind of cake to give to him. I must have mislaid you someplace along the road. Well, don't mind. I doubt he's in any state of mind to appreciate it.
What are you gonna do now? I mean, that's the question.
Well, I've come prepared for a little scuffle. Brought along my handcuffs with me. Now, I don't want no kind of violence if I can avoid it. No uproar in the countryside. I figure that the two of us can overpower him.
Well, I want to give you a little piece of advice. Now, you just drop the idea. You're going to come here and make trouble for Mr. Helton. And the sooner you drive that hired rig back through my gate, well, the better I'll be satisfied.
Now, a respectable man like you ain't going to stand in the way of justice, is he? Wouldn't look too good with your neighbors. You harboring an escaped lunatic, killed his own brother, refused to give him up. Why, I was counting on you to help me bring him to justice.
But I've been trying to tell you all along, he ain't loony now. He's been perfectly harmless now for 9 years. He's like one of the family's best standby man ever had. You're crazy. You're the crazy one around here. You're crazier than he ever was. Now, you get off this place before I handcuff you over the law. Get out of here before I knock you down.
Go on, try it.
Hey, what? Hey, wake up. What? Get up. He killed Mr. Helton. He killed him. I saw him do it. I had to knock him out, but he won't come to.
Thompson's place is straight ahead.
Won't be nothing to it now. Be finished in no time. Everything will be back just the way it was. Now, I want you to tell it exactly like you saw it. If the sheriff asked you about it. Now, don't butt in. Just like I tell you now. Mr. Hatch went for Mr. Helton to cut him with his knife. I had to defend Helton, that's all. You tell him exactly like that. Just like you saw it.
I told you he is hit.
All right, let's go.
Let's go find the hired man.
Oh, Mr. Helton, found you. You can come on back now. Now, we know you didn't do anything wrong. Mr. Helton. Mr. Helton. Hey!
Get him left. Helton!
It's okay, Mr. Thompson. It's okay.
That's all well and good. But I said you really don't need to come around no more. Just wait for the trial, which will be a mere formality.
Well, Mr. Burley, I'd just like to explain better. Now, you see Hatch, as I told you. Now, he made a pass at Mr. Helton after Helton hurt us and come on a run. Now, that's when I took hand. I could have sworn I seen him stab him.
Even if it wasn't that way exactly, I keep telling you, a man can sometimes see things funny in the heat of battle, as they say. Now, that stranger hadn't any right to come out to your house on such an errand.
Well, he was an ornery old hound, now let me tell you.
He certainly was. You just leave it to me.
Fact is, I don't even really remember hitting him.
Well, you hit him all right. A good one at that, even if it all seems a little cloudy now.
See, I'm no murderer. I mean, nobody can call me a killer.
Of course not. Of course not. Just a question of self-defense. Well, my own father shot a man just for setting foot inside his gate when he told him not to. He said, sure, I shot that scoundrel in self-defense. I told him I'd shoot him if he set foot in my yard, and he did. And I did. Well, your case is just the same. Wasn't even manslaughter. You got a fine case, even if you don't have any witnesses.
But my wife was there, now she saw it.
That's right. Have your wife sit in court. Yes, sir. She'll be a powerful argument with the jury. Only don't you or her say one word without I tell you. Remember what I said if all that about Mr. Helton's past comes out? Just hold your horses and keep your shirt on. It's gonna be all right.
Wasn't even manslaughter. Self-defense.
That's right.
Now, ma'am, we have to be rough with it. Oh, wait, try to stop him. He goes crazy.
So, Mr. Homer T. Hatch came on in, right through your gate without asking. Came out in all that dust and heat. Said he wanted to buy a horse of all things. Did you tell him to leave?
Yes, sir.
And did he?
No.
Well, then he was trespassing. Now, just why did he do that?
Well, he came to settle an old score with Mr. Helton, you see.
That he was there for trouble from the start. But now, did you do anything to provoke him?
Well, no, sir. I was. Now, if I could just explain better, I could make it perfectly clear to everybody.
Don't you worry now. It's clear as a bell. It's plain as day. But now, did you know that your best hired hand was an escaped lunatic until just a moment ago when Mr. Hatch's brother here so informed the court?
No.
When Mr. Hatch came after Mr. Hilton and threatened you with a bowie knife, what did you do?
Well, I took a hand to protect.
What was this man supposed to do when the lives of those he held nearest and dearest were threatened by this intruder? Defend them, that's why. What Mr. Thompson here hadn't defended poor Mr. Helton, whom he took care of like a brother, why, Lord knows that man might have gone on to kill him, his wife, and his two fine young boys. Now, Let's go over the details again.
Hey, son, your folks home?
Mama! Papa! Come here! The man that killed Mr. Hatch is coming to see you!
Light down, Mr. Thompson. Come in. The old lady is washing, but she'll get here. You run along now and play. Go on! Mr. Thompson? Howdy. Miss Thompson?
Hello.
Have a seat. Oh, thanks. Well, as I reckon you happen to know, I've had some strange troubles lately, and as a fellow says, it's not the kind of troubles that happens to a man every day of the year. Now, there's some things I don't want any misunderstanding about in my neighbors' minds. There's some things that aren't perfectly plain, even though I was totally cleared of any guilt by the process of the law. Now, I acted out of self-defense and to protect my man Helton, who was, well, as far as I knew, was just as normal as you and me. Now, my wife, she was there, and she saw it. Now, you saw it, didn't you? If you don't believe me, you can believe my wife. Now, she won't lie.
Yes, that's right. That's the truth. I saw it. That Mr. Hatch took a knife and tried to kill Mr. Helton. So, my husband had no choice but to defend himself.
Well, now, that sure is too bad. We followed the trial like everybody else. But, well, now, I can't see no good reason for us getting mixed up in these murder matters. I sure can't. Whichever way you look at it, it ain't none of my business. However, it's nice for y'all to come over and give us the straight of it. We've heard some mighty queer yarns about it. Mighty queer. By golly, you could hardly make head nor tail of it.
Everybody going around shooting their heads off. We don't hold with no killing. The Bible says...
Shut your trap and keep it shut, or I'll shut it for you. Now, sure looks like to me...
We mustn't linger. We have lingered long enough. It's getting late and we've far to go.
Now, thank you, Mr. McClellan. Don't you worry. They're just low down white trash, that's all.
Let's go home. Oh, Molly's tired and thirsty. We've gone far enough.
Well, since we're out this way, may as well stop off the Albrights.
Hello there. I'd ask you to come in, But my wife's sister's here with a whole raft of young and everything is upset, you understand.
Well, we just happen to be driving out this way.
Well, we've been thinking about trying to get up to your place one of these days. Expect to see you soon.
My wife was there the whole time. She saw every bit of it. So if you don't believe me, you can believe Ellie. She'll tell you. She won't lie.
That is the truth. That's what I saw. Mr. Hatch had a knife, and he was going to stab Mr. Hilton with it. So my husband didn't have any choice at all but to defend Mr. Hilton.
I just wanted y'all to know exactly what happened.
Well, now, naturally, we believe the Royal Earl. Well, why shouldn't we believe him? Now, didn't you get a fair and above-board trial? And
we know how you must feel. I've about come to the point where I believe in killing in self-defense myself.
You see, I really didn't have time at the trial to explain right. I had no choice.
Yes, it's true. I saw.
Now, I defy any one of you to have done one thing different than I did. Now, ask my wife, she'll tell you. Now, go on. Go right ahead.
Just
ask
like
her.
he
Or
says.
ask me.
My husband
Ask me anything
saved
you'd
our
like.
hired man from Mr.
Clear-cut
Hatch's
case.
knife.
No doubt about what happened. And I just wanted it to be clear to my neighbors,
saw
too.
it.
Right, Ellen?
That's truth. Yes, that's right.
Now, I'm telling you the truth now.
I did see
God's plain truth.
I saw it.
So will my wife.
That's the truth.
Hello, Mom.
I guess you boys are hungry. We were late today. We went the Log Hollow Road. It's rougher than ever.
I guess you saw the Mannings then.
Yes, and the Fergusons and the Albrights. And that new family, the McClellans.
Anybody say anything?
Oh, nothing much. You know how it's been all along. Most folks say yes. They know it was a clear case and a fair trial. And they say they're glad your papa came out of it so well. Some of them do anyhow. But they don't really seem to take sides with him. About wore out.
I just don't think it does any good. Not a speck. It just keeps the whole question stirred up in people's minds. It just makes matters worse. Now, I wish you could get Papa to stop driving around the country like that.
Your papa knows best. You oughtn't to criticize him, Herbert. He has enough to put up with without all that.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Papa.
Hello, Papa.
Now, will you all get out of my kitchen? It's too hot in here and I need some room. I'll make us some supper if you'll just get out of here and give me some room.
Mr. Helton! He killed him! I saw him do it!
I can't understand it. He cut him. When did I hit him?
You hit him all right. A good one at that. Even if it all seems a little cloudy now.
There ain't no murderer!
He gonna keep on.
I don't know.
You asleep, Ellie? I done the only thing I could. It wasn't right. But it was the only thing. Maybe I didn't have to kill him. Maybe I didn't. I didn't really try. I don't think I tried. I could have just gotten him away peaceably. Now look here, Mr. Hatch. I want to talk to you man to man. No, I hated that man so much. I hated him. Oh, I knew from the start. What else could I have done, huh? He went for. I know he went for Hilton. He was here for trouble. Why can't I see straight? I see it the same way every time. Dirty yellow living hell, he's coming and persecute an innocent man, ruining the whole family. That bastard! Lock the lamp, Bill! Lock the lamp! Off the Herbert! Your mother!
Let go of her.
She's scared to death.
What'd you do to her? You touch her again and I'll blow your heart out.
Oh, Herbert. She's fainted again. Arthur, get the ammonia.
Mama? Mama? Don't die, Mama.
I'm all right, Arthur. Don't you worry yourself around.
I reckon I'll ride on in and get the doctor. Doesn't look like all this fainting's a very good sign. You just watch after her till I get back. Don't you get any notions in your head. I never did your mother any harm in all my life on purpose. You'll know how to look after her. Before Almighty God, the great judge of all who before I am about to appear, I do hereby solemnly swear that I did not take the life of Mr. Homer T. Hatch on purpose. It was done in defense of Mr. Helton. I did not aim to hit him with the axe, but only to keep him off Mr. Helton. He aimed a blow at Mr. Helton, who was not looking for it. I have told all this to the judge and the jury, and they let me off. But nobody believes it. This is the only way I can prove that I am not a cold-blooded murderer like everybody seems to think. I still think I've done the only thing there was to do. It was Mr. Homer T. Hatch who caused all this trouble, and he deserved to die. But I'm sorry it was me who had to kill him. My wife will tell you... Mr. Royal Earl Thompson.